We were given a wonderful look into Yuki's world, and now our boy Itsumi wants to get a look into her world as well, which I think is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Coming off of a fantastic premiere for us to be able to have with the show and introducing us to the world of the characters. Very excited to see kind of what's to come. I haven't watched much from this winter season, but easily was my favorite out of the 4 or 5 shows that I have started for episode 1. So that's a good thing, and I'm excited to go further into this and explore these characters and their relationships a little bit more, and see kind of what ends up happening with them. If you like it all, the like and subscribe to me. Watch my fail first to run for the discussion. Leave me comments with this episode series. Let's go on with episode 2. I wonder what that feeling is. It's also new for her. So imagine if you get spooked easily and then people just have to come up and like tap you and stuff. You gotta spill it all. Lies. Very, yes. Very brave though. Yeah, that boy's smooth. Ah, you might get an opportunity. Oh.
It's quite nice.
I swear. The emphasis on them. I don't really give a fuck as long as he's involved. Do something. I don't know what you do. Oh, there you go. Hi. He's gonna come hang out. He probably just didn't realize you were there. You're good. I'll watch you type. Yes, he needs some space. Flight, where are you going? Again? You just got back. Blouse. Blouse. There you go. I like how he says I'm going there for a bit, like so casually, like it's just, you know, a natural thing. You're going too fast. It's whatever you really want it to be fair. That goof is looking at us. Oh. Oh. I don't like that. Don't introduce someone like him. Oh, maybe he's just observing so that, you know, we're not getting bullied. I'm chilling. Yo, the boy. Nah.
聞こえないってどれくらい？
全然。
それって補聴器は？
つけてっけど それでも音拾えねえタイプなんだよ。
Hmm.
はい、よくわからんが。あ、またな、推し。
あ
So I'm gonna dip there. It is a little sad because it's like a thing that other people will treat you like that, you know?
でもちゃんと覚えてたんだ。
He went out of his way to learn it.
いつあみさん、
Hmm. Look at you, totally in love.
ほら、やっぱり顔キラキラしてる。
That's fine. You don't need to tell the difference.
昨日会って好きってなったよ。
Hmm.
なの優しいんだもん。
You still can't talk to him, but
どっちかわからないんだったら自分で選んでいいんじゃないのかな。
or don't pick any. Just go with it, you know? Yes. You can make your own definitions while you're at it too. Fuck them. There you go. There you go.
恋か憧れか自分で決められるものなら。
お客さん、ちょっとお客さん。
Hmm. What a guy.
王子、
Oh, hi.
盗み
Who are you?
王子もたまにはいいことするんだね。
What he chooses to be.
王子がいなかったら逃げたって誤解されたままだったかも。
そうだな。耳が聞こえないとどうしたって危ない目にも遭いやすくなっちまう。いっそ安全なとこにいてくれりゃいいのにな。
I don't know if I like that mindset. Unless I'm misunderstanding that. I think I have a clear idea where his character's going, and I don't think I like it. We'll let him develop. We'll see what he says. We'll see what happens, you know?
どこで何をしているんだろう。
Exploring the world.
いつあみさん、
Oh, no going to sleep now. Oh.
すごい。全部見たことない。いつあみさん、そこはどんなところですか？どういう景色が広がっていて、どんな時間が流れていますか？知らない世界へ踏み出していくのは怖くないですか？
So all unfamiliar to you, but so interesting. This girl's never gonna go to sleep tonight. It's really cute though that he's, you know, sending all these things. He's so happy about them, he wants to share them with her.
7ドル、すごいところにいる。
That's how we can travel.
帰ってくる。会えるかな？
I think that's why he's telling you he would like to.
あれ、
The boy.
いつあみさん。おはよう。
He's learning.
自分の指先ぎこちない。
Hmm.
あなたが現れて広がる世界にこのため息さ
He's got some massive fucking feet. Holy shit.
これが
Some big one.
恋であってほしい。恋がいい。
Alright, we'll go with that then.
聞きたいことがありすぎて。
Go for it.
スマホかノート。
手出して。
You gotta get your gifts. Your souvenirs. That's what. What'd you get? Oh. Cool. Oh.
話しているかもしれないけど、顔上げられなかった。
That seems to be happening a lot with him.
してこれを選んだんだろう。何かの神様？
I have to ask.
一周回ってむしろ可愛い。私が通っていたろう学校は幼稚園から高校まで全部同じ敷地内で、
Damn.
同級生は4人だった。
You're with them for a long time.
そこが私の世界の全てだった。
Gotcha.
それでも私は
She would like to see the outside. The bigger world.
私はいた。
Hmm.
盛
There's
り上
girls
がっ
there.
てる。いろいろいつおみさんのこととか話したいけど、
Hmm. Is he
で
here?
も会う約束してるわけじゃないしな。
The other friend? Oh.
王子くん、
何ぼーっと突っ立ってんの？
友達待ってる。
The guy? The dude? Best not be that guy, because she's right there.
どうすんのってでけえ声で話してる。
Hmm.
いいよ、そんなの訳さなくて。
気になってるくせに。友達。ね
王子くんの手話には
Hmm.
いつもトゲがあって。だけど時々弱々しく力の入らない指先が本当は心配してくれてるんじゃないかって思ったりもして。
Yeah, I mean, it would appear that way, but he's also kind of, you know, being a little weird. The way that he's saying and presenting things. I don't know. I don't know about this guy still. Oh. Alright, buddy, be careful. Especially not around him. You don't want to be bumping her. Yo.
いつおみさんとの世界に踏み込むように
Hmm.
オープンキャンパスで大学を回って、そこには私の知らない世界が広がっていて、私には大学生がドラマに出てくる人たちと同じようにキラキラして見えた。
え。お前さ、
何？
Also, you
あ
know,
ん
you
まり
listen.
調子乗んなよ。
乗ってない。
Hmm. See, I think bro thinks like he's like jealous or mad, but it's me realistically, I think is just trying to learn.
あんま背後から抱きつかない方がいいですよ。こいつ足音聞こえねえし。
ごめんね。後ろから抱きつかないようにする。
She seems to be very forgiving and like doesn't matter around anyone else, but when it comes to this dude, she's just like always on edge and pissed. We've had 2 conversations. I picked one. Hmm.
言語違うと伝え方
Oh, calm the fuck down, Rin. Ah.
行こう。ゾウミさんに見られるたびに見つめられないほどドキドキする。
This girl is on horrendous, dude.
この気持ちが
She can't get a break.
私、いつおみさんに恋をしました。
Acknowledgement 2 episodes in, I respect. So 2 is done and our conflict is now presented for probably the major like portion of the series, I would assume, going forward. And it's not presented in like the worst possible way, which is nice to see. Would I have preferred an entire story focused on just these 2 and not somebody such as a childhood friend in this situation being brought in? Absolutely. Do I think this is the worst decision and thing that can happen? No. The representation of using a character like him, somebody who is essentially looking at Yuki is like, I don't want to say a negative. I don't know the right word I'm looking for. he's looking at her and the disability in which that she kind of has as something that isn't normal in a way, right? He's looking at her as she is somebody different, and for that reason we need to treat her different and we need to act different around her, right? We need to not treat her and include her as if she's a normal person. We need to close her in, right? We need to not allow her to kind of see the open things and the things that she really wants to and her heart desires, and the plenty of things that somebody like Itsuomi gets to see when he goes and he, you know, visits plenty of countries, and the different things that he's kind of gone through and experienced, and the things that she is really intrigued by that she's never had the opportunity to. He literally just doesn't want her to kind of exist within that. He doesn't want her to see that or have those opportunities, and he thinks that we need to kind of do everything that we can to like protect her in these situations. I get Buddy's position, like behind exactly the example that they presented to us, you know, in these different situations that can happen, and so that like the dude didn't end up getting caught as somebody or looked at as somebody who was just trying to evade paying the fare for the train or whatever, right? We have to like treat these people or have them act in accordance and like do these different things, because they can't get treated the same way, you know, when they end up calling out to somebody like him. And I understand, I believe for the most part what they're trying to like convey there, but it's like just not the right way to kind of treat people, right? It's not the right way to look at things. It's not the right way to be inclusive and kind of just be accepting and allow other people to take opportunities or do things, you know, for themselves. You're treating them as if they have no free will at this point. Like they're not allowed to do these things, and they shouldn't be treated as normal people at the end of the day. And I think that that's just the wrong perspective for the most part to look at it. We introduce him as a character who definitely cares deeply for Yuki, who definitely, you know, probably loves her, just really wants to, you know, care for her. Whatever his feelings actually come down to, he is doing things that are kind of opposite exactly of the way that she thinks. We as viewers get to know that by her inner voice that we end up hearing when she ends up talking, and how agitated she almost sounds like every time that she's kind of like examining him or talking to him. It doesn't seem like she's too like overly thrilled by kind of having him around, and he's almost like somebody who, I don't know, she it prohibits her from doing or seeing and having these experiences and stuff that she really wants. Overly protective in a way, and trying to box her in, which is not at all the things that she desires and the things that she wants. And you see how exactly like how happy that she is, even when she's just like a friend. We don't even have to look at somebody like a romantic interest, and how happy she is when she just talks to somebody like Ren, right? And the energy that she kind of gives off in those situations, and how unbothered she almost feels the situation at the end, when she kind of like runs up behind her and like spooks her or whatever, right? Like even if it isn't like accidental, and or if it is accidental and she doesn't mean to do these things and go out of her way to create any problems, right, or do anything like that, but this guy being like, yo, don't do that, you know, that's bad, she can't hear these footsteps. It's like, thanks, that's like, we appreciate that, but at the same time, like, she is also like enough of her person that she could openly state that if it really is something that kind of bugs her or bothers her. And this is the second time that was presented in this episode where she was kind of spooked from behind, and she hasn't really brought that up to anybody, like, hey, please stop doing this, or oh, this is like bad, when, you know what I mean? Like none of that gets kind of presented in a way that she seems almost okay with it. And this guy has this like pretty set way of thinking of how she should kind of be acting or feeling in situations, and it's not appropriate because it's not actually her, and we're not allowing her to kind of act as though she's her own person. And I don't like the way that we're kind of treating her at that point, and it's just wrong and weird. But I get it for like the reference, like visually, that we can kind of see on screen of the type of person, you know, if she goes this route and is kind of with this guy instead, what her world would end up being like and looking like based on the things that he kind of sees, versus the guy who is so open-minded and wants everybody to kind of flourish and see all these things. And you know, he's also interested in even seeing somebody and experiencing the things and kind of understanding what she's been through, somebody who has been kind of restricted in these things. And it's like the, you know, just the contrast that you get between the two, being able to be openly displayed here. I just hope that we don't go too drama heavy, like between them, or like him getting kind of jealous or being weird or whatever it is. Like, I just hope we don't go too much down that route, because then it becomes almost unnecessary for the introduction. I don't have a problem with introducing a character like him to kind of display these things and openly kind of show you these different things, but at the same time, if we play more into it and just add somebody who clearly isn't going to be of interest to her and clearly isn't going to be like end game person that she ends up with in the relationship that we should really be invested in Karen, then we just have an extra character for no reason and they just feel unnecessary. So we kind of need to, I guess, just be cautious of the way that they kind of decide to go about him as a character and bring him along. And we can play with him as a character plenty like of ways, right? And we can make him good at the end of the day, right? Like we can allow him to see and understand the reasons or the things that she does feel and why she feels those ways and what exactly she wants to kind of experience, and have him firsthand be able to see the joy and these things that kind of come out of her from having these different opportunities and stuff that she kind of was lacking before, especially with her school and everything else that she had to go through until she was able to come to this university. So it's like, I don't know. It's interesting to think about the ways that we can kind of do it to grow him as a person too, and allow him to understand maybe the things that he was doing and how they've been harmful or just not beneficial in any sort of way to her. While they have been to certain points, at this point, you know, you're kind of restricting her in a lot of different ways, and your mindset's kind of poor for the most part. So we have to maybe go through something and kind of correct that and allow him to see that. And I think that we can present that in ways that don't involve too much like over dramatized things, which who knows? I mean, we'll end up seeing the way that they go, but that's just kind of where I'm at, where I'm hoping we don't go down that road. But I don't have an issue with how we're presenting and introducing him right here. We get to see him here having a conversation with other people, speaking in English and trying to, you know, just do his thing, right? For the most part, that's exactly what he's doing. And then at this point, Yuki starts really questioning things, how exactly she feels, you know, how exactly she is around him, why she feels the way that she does. We're able to have this conversation with him, which I think is really, really sweet. And this is where we really start introducing Buddy into the fold here, which I think is great. I love him saying this and then her getting all flustered and not knowing, did I properly say this or not? Or did I properly understand the things that he said? And am I understanding something wrong or thinking of it wrong? I don't know. I think that's great. I also love Rin just like calling her out and not allowing her just to be, you know, herself and be all conflicted and be like, nah, you're in Galong. You were definitely feeling this way. Which I think is wonderful. His friend here is, I think, a representation almost of like a normal's not the right word. Maybe it is. It feels wrong, but maybe it is. The typical, I guess, kind of person in these situations where he's going to see somebody like her, right? And his friend immediately points out, oh, she's deaf. Like that's the first thing that he has to make note of her, and, you know, kind of labeling her or giving her this title already off rip here. And then his friend immediately is just like, that sounds like, you know, a lot to deal with, or that just sounds difficult, or that sounds whatever, right? Like too complicated, too much for him to really kind of take on, which is almost like the mindset I feel like of the average person almost, right? It doesn't want to kind of involve themselves or give other people the time of day if it comes to these sort of things, right? And having to deal with somebody else who might have some sort of thing like this, might have a hearing disability or whatever else the situation might be. Him being in this kind of situation, I think, is interesting for the way that they want to decide to present him, just because he does feel so normalized. I love Itsumi going to Laos here and bringing up if she wants souvenirs and stuff, and then her having the ability to kind of send a text to him and actively be like, yes, like taking charge a little bit there, you know. She doesn't have to hold back. We don't have to have our standard like, no, like I don't want to be like seem like I'm too like greedy or too picky or too like needy in any of these situations, and instead is like perfectly okay with it. I also like the idea behind like the crushing and the love that they're trying to go into, and allowing Yuki basically to decide her own feelings and her own ways that she kind of wants to feel and take on the situation. And while I don't think it's necessary to even give any of them a label, and I don't think it necessarily even matters, but her being able to take on this new experience and actually figure out these things on her own and not have somebody else tell her exactly what it is and let her kind of be led to her own conclusions, I think is an excellent thing. This is the situation I talked a little bit about before. He ends up seeing this girl who clearly he has some sort of connection or relationship with for whatever the purpose or the reason is between the two of them. His mindset and everything I don't like, as I kind of said before. I do like Yuki always saying hi to people. Always been so happy when we kind of see them. And then this moment's really cute too, of Itsumi sending all the pictures and the things that he wants to share, right? He's willingly kind of showing her his own world, letting her in a little bit here as, you know, ways. It's almost like a trade-off, right? He gets to learn these different things from her, and they get to have this friendship and this communication. Friendship, we'll see how he's really at and how he feels, but it's really, really cool, I think, just for him to be able to send all these things and kind of share his different experiences and stuff and do this, because these are things that he could just kind of keep in, and she's been wondering and wanting to know, but he also seems very eager to kind of share them with her and wanting to include her a lot, which I think is great. We get to see him when he comes back to his trip, and he clearly has learned a little bit of sign language here, putting in the effort too. We know he has learned languages and stuff like that before, and he has plenty of them that he fully understands, so this is not something that's a surprise at all. I think many of us kind of would expect him to go out of his way to learn this, but I think it is really sweet, and that's not something that we should kind of just dismiss at that point. His shoes are fucking huge here, dude. I can't help but notice that the proportions of his body just feel so entirely off. But it is what it is. He gives her this little souvenir here, and her kind of not understanding exactly why, but just being like okay with it. Just being happy that she was able to get something, but not understanding the meaning or anything behind it. I don't know either. I don't even understand. Maybe it's just like something that he was able to pick up, but it's just sweet anyways that he did decide to think of her and get her something regardless. He does need to watch a space here. We gotta stop with the touching and doing all this, but whatever, we'll let it we'll give it a pass, I guess, because he's clearly going to do it for the remainder of this series. So we'll just kind of let it be at that. Yuki reflecting a lot more, the things that we kind of went over last episode and really thought about before, her way that she was kind of brought up and how she's always been, thinking about the idea of, wanting to experience this open world and these different things, and how she's always trying to chase and go after something more and not having the opportunity to be able to. But now she's finally in a situation where she feels like she can. We end up finding Vryn already in a conversation, not wanting to jump in, makes plenty of sense here. And then we end up having our conversation with Buddy here. I don't know. Clearly Yuki doesn't seem too happy when she's in the middle of this, and Buddy just giving her attitude and stuff like it's okay, or he's like allowed to do this because he's like doing a favor almost by like protecting her, like as he says he's protecting her. It's like weird. I don't know. I don't think it's correct at all. It's weird, and I don't love that necessarily. I don't know how Buddy bumped into her at all. Like maybe she backed up here and I just didn't notice that, and then she accidentally like hit him. But either way, and then even like this, like you gotta stop with the hands, dude. The hands sending a warning here, almost like, hey, don't get involved with them. It's just like, dude, what the fuck's your issue? I don't understand that. And then being able to just kind of talk to Vryn a little bit here, and then have this moment here where she actually tries to sign something to him, and literally in the middle of his conversation he says, screw it, I'm gonna drop this conversation and I'm gonna learn this exactly what it is, which I think is really, really sweet. The feelings of love have been decided, and we end up getting to progress a little bit more and allow Yuki to kind of come to her conclusion here of how she wants to feel, and then we get to experience a lot more going forward. I'm very excited to see what happens. I enjoyed this quite a bit. While I do have issues with the other guy kind of being introduced, I don't have a problem with why they're introducing him. It's just how far they're going to take him is kind of where I think my issue will start coming in. So we're going to have to kind of be a little bit cautious of that, but good nonetheless. We need more Yuki and Itsuomi moments though, so they still have to kind of just become on better terms where they're always together, because that's kind of what I want right now. So we'll end up seeing. If you like that, all the like and subscribe to me, on to me. Feel free to check out the videos and channel in the comments of this series. I'll be back next week for 3. You guys have a good one. Peace.